Joining me now is our international affairs commentator, Douglas Herbert. First major speech of the day, Doug, is going to be by the US president. What are we expecting Joe Biden to say?
There's not going to be any earth-shattering surprises in that. When Joe Biden steps up to a podium, any podium on the world stage, and this is perhaps the biggest one, he is bringing the same basic vision. His view, democracy, multilateral cooperation, that means cooperation across the world stage, are always better than autocracy and aggression and retrenchment. That's his broad vision. And what he's going to be basically saying to what is going to be a rapt audience, because there are only a few leaders at these UNGAs. He said there are 140. Few leaders are able to really grab the attention of everyone. A lot of the speeches, people just walk out. The room's half empty. He will have the attention of people. One of the world's most pressing problems is going to be Ukraine. And he is, according to White House officials who've signaled it in advance, he's going to be dedicating a lot of his time. There's only 15 minutes, technically. A lot of leaders go over a lot of his time to Ukraine and trying to convince a skeptical world, including a skeptical Ukrainian leadership, perhaps, that are looking at a lot of Ukraine's allies who keep saying, we're with you as long as it takes, whatever it takes. We'll keep on being there for you. Zelensky himself said recently that with a lot of these Western leaders and allies right now, even as they say those words, he feels intuitively that some of them are losing faith as the counteroffensive grinds on. What Joe Biden is going to be there to do is, in a very skeptical, increasingly skeptical world environment, more and more people questioning the duration, the longevity of aid to Ukraine, he's going to be saying, we need to stick with Ukraine. We're going to stay with Ukraine as long as it takes. He's going to repeat those words, and he wants people to believe it. And I'll say one thing. I said he has star power already. He will be able to hog the stage at the UN this year a little more, Annette, because his biggest bogeymen on the world stage, his biggest adversaries, namely Vladimir Putin in Russia, Xi Jinping of China, they will be absent from the UNGA, from these speeches this year. So Biden will have a little bit more of the limelight on his speech and himself.
And talking about that speech from the Ukrainian President Zelensky, he's got a tough mission this year, hasn't he? I mean, he's got to sort of woo skeptics to continue to support his country, but at the same time also expressing his gratitude.
Yeah, you're expressing his gratitude. I will use a more loaded word, Annette, grovel. A lot of this is there's been a sense among some of the Western allies, obviously not publicly stated all the time, although there have been some public leaks of these types of sentiments, that Ukraine hasn't shown enough gratefulness for the aid, the billions that the West has given it in recent months. And his people say that he's gotten the message that he needs to make it clear that he is grateful to them. And it's an important part of that message, because as he steps up there to tell the world, we need you now more than ever. I know this is a long war. I know it's not taking as long as it's not going as quickly as a lot of you might have hoped. If ever before, in the months ahead, we need you to be on our side with humanitarian and military and financial support. It is now. And at the same time, he's going to be lacing that with the thank you, thank you, thank you. I think in one recent speech with a Western ally, he said thank you 8 times. So look for the thank yous, many of them sprinkled liberally throughout his speech. But alongside that, very cognizant of the fact that, especially in the U.S., where he's going to be appearing in New York City, in Washington, the political climate is more and more tending towards skepticism, and especially on a certain hawkish, very right wing of the Republican Party, even towards wanting to cut off aid to Ukraine. Right now, the Congress is going to be debating, as he's there, a $24 billion aid package. It looks like that could get through, but it's caught up in a lot of political sniping, a lot of extremist agendas trying to take that hostage. So he's going to be there. Please, 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 we need you. We're in your interest. Staying with us right now in the long term will be your safest bet and the best bet, not just for Ukraine, but for Europe and the broader world.
Doug Herbert, thank you very much. And